Guys, I'm going to tell you some theories I have about Mr. Bean. And if you watch Mr. Bean, you notice he only wears one suit. He's very funny, he doesn't speak, he only mumbles, and he's kind of silly. And he kind of indicates he's like a child in a way because he's funny and he likes to make people laugh. My theory of Mr. Bean is he doesn't understand how humans act, so he's funny. Another theory is some people believe he's an alien. I believe he's just a comedian who's being funny. But other people think that he came from an alien thing, or he was abducted by aliens and became Mr. Bean. Now that's a creepy theory about Mr. Bean. I don't know if that's relevant. The fact that he only wears one clothes, he lives alone, that doesn't mean he's an alien. Another fact, I think, is that maybe he doesn't know how to properly conduct himself in society, so he acts funny to make people laugh because he has a show. I don't know really how sociably appropriate he is because he's funny, he mumbles. But he gets people laughing, so there's not too much creepiness in that. I mean, being funny isn't really creepy, is it? Okay. Another theory people had of him is that he was cloned by the government, but I never heard anything in the news about that. I don't know if that's true, but some people believe that. I don't know if you do. I mean, he's funny, Mr. Bean. He doesn't speak, he mumbles. There's a little bit weirdness going on. Maybe. Today we're going to talk about Mr. Bean. Now, Mr. Bean's been my all-time favorite TV show. I used to watch him when he was on TV. I used to like Mr. Bean. He made me laugh. And there was another TV show I used to watch was Faulty Towers. Oh my god, I missed that TV show. I hope it comes back on. That was a great TV show. I don't ever know what happened to it, but it was amazing. It was funny. It was starring the John Cleese, and I don't know what the wife in it name, but it was funny. John Cleese in it ran a hotel in it, and it was called Faulty Towers, and he had this little Spanish waiter who worked with him, and he was funny. He always made mistakes, and he would shout at the Spanish waiter because he didn't understand English. And it was funny. There was one scene where he pulled the chair from a guy and he fell on the floor. That was funny. I can't help laughing about that. How many of you watch Faulty Towers? I mean, I wish it'd come back on air. Another funny show I watch is Rab C. Nesbitt, and he's a Scottish comedian. He is hilarious. He's a hoot to the Scots. If you understand Scottish, you would understand Rab C. Nesbitt. He's also very cheeky. He's like, see you. Like how he says, see you. And he didn't like Jimmy Hill or something. He was upset about the government in one of the shows. Oh, you gotta watch the show Rab C. Nesbitt. He's on YouTube, by the way. They have episodes of him on YouTube. I remember one episode, he goes to the corner store. I don't think he had enough to even buy a bag of crisp. That's called chips here. They call them crisp over there. So it was £3.27. I don't know how much that is in Canadian money, but that's quite expensive for a bag of chips. But he was buying more than one for his friends too, so I guess it would cost up to £3 27. That's quite a lot of money for a bag of chips, for that many chips. And then he says, "You look, you want anything or don't you? I have a queue of people waiting." And he goes, "Oh, they're waiting." And he says like they're waiting to get their bloody pockets picked, meaning their pockets picked, meaning he thinks he was cheating him and thought he had a gun under his counter. And he goes, "I beg your pardon, I don't carry a shotgun under the counter." And then he sprayed him in the face with a water gun. That was funny. And he says, "Once you get a hold of these, you can't stop. I mean, you can't stop." It's just so funny. The way he says it, oh my god. Why would he spray someone in the face? And then the guy wanted him out and threw a crowbar, and it hit the door, and told him to have a nice day and gave him the finger and ran off. Larry David is the American version of Rabsy Nesbitt. He's a hoot. Larry David, you know what he'll do? He'll go into people's fridge, Larry David, and get in trouble. And then when you confront him about it, he'll say, "You allowed me in the fridge." And he only was allowed to take liquids out the fridge. That is crazy. I mean, if a guest comes to my house and they raid my fridge, I probably wouldn't like it, but I wouldn't be rude. I'd just say, "You could ask me." I mean, seriously, I wouldn't argue with people over that. And then he argues over petty things. Like, really? Like, Larry David wrestled his friend Richard Lewis to the ground, asking to pay for his lunch. It's like he offered to take him out for lunch. That's what people usually do when they take their friend out for lunch. It's not worth wrestling on the ground. That was funny. And there's one episode where he drives his friend's 57 Chevy car, and a guy behind him was not honking at him. And then he started a fight with some guy behind him, saying that he was honking at him. And he says, "It's a stop sign, you idiot." And the guy said, "I wasn't honking at you." And he was calling him an effing a-hole and rammed the bumper. And Larry David, of course, got the blame for it. And then he had to take it in to get fixed and argued with the person wanting to fix it. Like, who does that? Seriously? If you're going to take your friend's 57 Chevy for a ride, make sure you don't listen to the Amco ad, because someone definitely is going to get fed up. I tell you a story about me on the way to Special Olympics basketball in Ottawa, and this happened to me. I'm in the car with my dad, waiting in a big queue of cars to go to the basketball in Ottawa. A while ago, I think this was 2015 or so, or 2016, I don't know. But I'm waiting in the car with my dad to go to the basketball. And some guy was honking behind him, telling him to move it, like he didn't want to wait any longer. It was fed up. I'm like, let the green light go, for God's sake. I hope we can go. And this guy seemed pretty impatient, honking at him behind him, and this was true. I said, "Dad, maybe we should go." And he said, "Don't worry, wait for the light to turn green." He did. He was patient, but the guy behind him was not having it. So I'm like, "We gotta go. This guy behind us is really impatient." I didn't like it. I thought he was just going to ram the bumper or something. And then when the light turned on, the guy drove past and was swearing at my dad. I said, "Well, maybe we should drive away." Like, seriously, I didn't want to start anything with this person because you don't know what they're like, and road rage is a terrible thing. I don't want to I don't want to confront people like that. That's creepy. Um, that is my story for today, folks. I'm glad to sit down and talk to you guys, and I hope you enjoy the weather and take care. Please take care.